Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. And if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Sure, absolutely. Pleasure to meet you, Dan, first off. My name's Lisa Campbell, and I'm the president and founder of Mr. Frank's Kitchen, and I live in Bellingham, Washington.
Awesome. So can you tell me more about your business? Like, what exactly do you do, and how did you get the idea for it?
So I manufacture clean, high-end spice blends, and I founded my company in honor of my late dad, Mr. Frank Postal, who had created the original blend in our lineup. He had a really high-end steakhouse in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, and had created this blend that made his restaurant really successful, and he was just famous in the Falls for it. So it's something that's super near and dear to my heart. I love what I do, and I'm super passionate about it, and just having this incredible legacy behind me is just my driving force every day.
For sure. So I guess in terms of your business right now, is it mostly e-commerce, retail, food service? Like, where are most of your customers located?
So really quickly, I started in retail because I was I just wanted to get it out to the masses, and I did really well, was in Whole Foods and all the big stores, and, just really had a good growth trajectory with that. And then I just got super disenchanted with the distribution aspect of retail. And this is a very greedy part of the business that I just don't relate to. And it's not it's not where I come from and how I want to do business. So we pivoted, or I made the decision to pull out of retail end of 2022. So 2023, I pivoted into food service and working with food service and manufacturers. And it's been incredible. I've met so many just amazing people on this journey. And, it was tough because I had to rebuild and push that 8,000-pound boulder back up the hill. But, I got big shoulders. I got good genetics, and a hell of a lot of luck. And it's just been incredible. So I do still do e-commerce with my website, but it's kind of just been a smaller focus. We are looking for funding. So when we do get funded, we will put a little more effort into driving our D2C aspect of it. You need to have deep coffers for that. So
For sure. So in terms of your product, who would you say is an ideal customer?
Anybody who loves to cook. If you love flavors from kids to home cooks to high-end chefs, like our products in the Ritz-Carlton Grand Cayman, which is a 5-star venue.
Yeah.
To the home cook the person who doesn't know how to cook and just wants great flavors and with ease. One of the things that we always say is we make cooking simple again, because the blends are super versatile. My dad's original blend, for instance, he started out with just having it on steaks and in his seafood butters. And when I first started, that was my intention with it, is just for meats and stuff. And then I would have people come up to me are you Mrs. Frank? It's the only way my kids eat their vegetables, or we put it on popcorn, or we rim a Bloody Mary with it. So I have this super schmaltzy line where I say it's the only, seasoning that will take you from breakfast to cocktails, because it does. So anybody who loves to cook and loves to eat is the answer to that.
That's good. Yeah. I think that's and I mean, having it's a product for everybody. I mean, there's nothing like it. So in terms of your priorities, right? Like you mentioned, obviously, that you're doubling down on food service, but, in terms of 2024 specifically, what are you really looking to do besides raising money to make this year successful for you?
Honestly, just make a difference. That's my biggest thing is I love to cook and I'm a chef but even if for, I said, people who don't, it's I really want to make a difference. And we just partnered up with Joe Urban from School Food Rocks, who is he is instrumental in revolutionizing nutrition for K through 12 nationally. And we've partnered up with him to just really make food and nutrition better for kids. And to me, I have 2 kids. I have 2 teenagers who are super spoiled when it comes to eating, but I see what their experiences is when they eat as opposed to, their lunches at school, if I don't pack it for them, or if they go to somebody's house. So really making a difference and educating and trying to just have people eat better, especially kids. So make a difference.
For sure. So in terms of like making a difference, can you kind of like dive deeper into that? Like how exactly are you able to make a difference with your products? Is it like having like certain types of ingredients? Like I'm just curious about that.
Sure. So all of our seasonings are super clean. So there's no junk in them. There's no preservatives. There's no additives. There's no any of the, I can't remember all the junk that they put in there, but there's none of it in there. It's all super clean. So our goal is, excuse me, is like I said, to just make cooking easy, simple, and clean, and just having people understand a little bit better what they're putting in their food. I don't like to brand bash, but there's a really large, excuse me, a really, really large company out there that puts metal in their products, and people don't realize it. And large companies cut corners a ton because they can, which always blows my mind. It's like the companies with the most resources do the least. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it's like you have like a lot of these mass-produced products that are your competition that are not super clean and don't really care about those things. And it's awesome that you're prioritizing that. So in terms of your business, like what would you say is the biggest challenge that you currently face?
the big hill. I'll die on that hill, though, just to be clear. So funding is definitely huge. Like that was one of the things that I think as a newbie going into it, I didn't understand is actually how much money it takes to take something to, from a dream to fruition to scale. So, I think that's probably the biggest hurdle, but we're really working on that. We've got some great traction with it. So you really need the ability to not only produce an amazing product, but just to get it out there. And I spent a good majority of my time focusing on production and just making the best product and doing the best that I can and the best ingredients and the best packaging and sustainability and all that. And then I was like, but then it's great, but if nobody knows about it, or if you're just like, and I hate social media, like I love it. I know. I hate it. I don't. I'm a very private person, so it's a struggle for me to like be on social media constantly, but it's a necessary evil. And that is probably the biggest hurdle is the funding to really be able to scale accordingly. And so also like to be able to hire like a social media person or somebody to do other than me.
For sure, yeah. So it's like something that you sort of need to do where you just don't have time to do it. And it's like you don't even want to do it really because it's not like your thing.
It's not. I'm not one to keep up with the Joneses and like everybody always says like, who's your biggest competitor? And I'm like, I am. Like I challenge myself every day and it's not like I'm in my lane and I'm doing my thing and I'm not in competition with anybody. Like I just want to make a difference and be the best that I can be. And I don't really care what anybody else is doing, like.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a good way to go about it. So in terms of your business, right? Many companies in 2024 use high level technology like AI. So do you guys currently use AI? And if not, where could AI may come in and add more value?
So I'm officially my mother because technology terrifies me. So it is something that now my business partner, Mitch Gilbert, if he was on here, he would jump all over this because he's huge on technology and that's his wheelhouse. Technology is not my jam, but it is absolutely something that I see has a relevance, and an importance, and it definitely can make a lot of things easier and more efficient. I personally don't love it because I'm old school and I'm touchy feely and I got to, it's got to be tangible and I don't like how it makes humans obsolete, if you will, or takes jobs. But like I said, I understand there's a huge, aspect to it that is positive. And at some point, absolutely, we'll be probably engaging in that, like
No,
a shape
yeah,
Mr. Frank's in Switzerland on top of the Matterhorn or something.
for sure. Yeah. I mean, there's so many use cases for AI, like even chats, explaining products, things like that.
Right.
Aw-
Absolutely.
Awesome. So what would you say is like the one biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew before you started this business?
That's a good question. Things are going to cost 5 times more than you expect,
Five times. Yeah.
at least, like plan your budget and then add 5 times to that. And that's really just everything always costs more than intended. But, it's definitely, as a newbie, you skin your knees along the way all the time. But, it definitely be prepared financially, have your village, build your village and make sure you have somebody in that village who really knows finances. So that would be my number one. Yeah.
For sure. So if we're going to have this conversation again in 1 year from now, where do you see things going for your business?
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. So we plan to go global. and yeah, we just have a ton of things going on. So we plan on developing, we're private labeling a bunch of other items that are going to be like really high end pantry staples, like the garlics and the peppers and the chilies and the bougie sea salts, all of that stuff. We are looking at developing other additional products I have in the pipeline. I had a food truck and I had developed like some wing sauces and aiolis and other things that being just incredible. So potentially moving into those. We're working with some really big names right now that I can't say with future product development on like different flavors on there. So yeah, I just hope to be, have a bigger footprint in a year from now.
That's exciting. So if somebody watching this wanted to reach out to you, do you mind sharing your website or social media or even like best way to get in contact with you?
You can email me directly, Lisa at mrfrankskitchen.com. The website is www.mrfrankskitchen.com and MRFRANKS kitchen.com, or call me or text me, or I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. So you can find me.
Well, Lisa, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a pleasure to meet you. Thanks so much, Dan.
Thanks. All right. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.